January 28, 1962 is an iconic day in the collective memory of the Sisters of St. Joseph. On that day, 500 frail and elderly people were moved from the original House of Providence on Power Street to the newly built Providence Villa on St. Clair East. Can you guess how long that move took? The residents had their breakfast at the House of Providence and their lunch at Providence Villa. While the intricate planning and logistical execution of that morning are a feat, it is the tangible kindness which marked that day that sticks with us. In fact, the move was coined the Caravan of Kindness by the media. The kindness present that day is the same kindness that has infused Unity Health Toronto since its founding and continues to be so central to who we are. As we share with you some of the delightful memories of 1962, I invite you to think about how kindness can be seen at Unity Health Toronto today.
The Caravan of Kindness involved the whole community. Not only the sisters and staff were involved, but the whole community rallied around the residents. The taxi cabs donated their time to transport the residents. The grocery stores donated bags in which the residents could put small items to have with them in the cab. And the staff at St. Michael's and St. Joseph's pitched in and helped wherever needed.
So as a young sister, we were assigned practical duties. Mine was to meet the residents kindly and to bring them to their rooms, and when they were settled, to go back and meet the next resident. I think what struck me from that day was how different it must be for these residents to come to a brand new facility, so bright and shiny, and so different from what they had come from. It spoke volumes to me about how much the sisters valued those experiencing disadvantage. The sisters were excited to move, and they said the only thing holding the old building up when they go would be the termites. Change isn't easy, and a new fancy building doesn't always make a home. So much thought was put into transitioning the residents and the care team to the new home.
As you can well imagine, there were a few incidents the first day with the unfamiliarity of the equipment. We had introduced hot and cold food carts to take the trays to the patients and residents on the floor. We could set out the cold items the night before and have it all ready for the morning just to add the hot. And the next morning when I came down, I found that the plugs had been pulled. And needless to say, the butter was all melted and milk was sour, so we had to start all over again, and breakfast was a little late that morning. Another incident was that the housekeeping schedule had been somewhat neglected. And I noticed one day the floor was getting kind of grimy. So I grabbed a bucket of water and a mop and started mopping the floor in my long white habit. When in walked an equipment salesman that I had known previously. And he saw me mopping the floor and he said, "Sister, you're going to lose your prestige." And I said, "Prestige be damned, I want a clean floor." Change is not easy, but it's part of the legacy of the Sisters of St. Joseph and those that partner with us. The secret is meeting the needs of the day, but with kindness. But why? Because in the end, it's all about the residents and patients.
The kindness that was palpably experienced in 1962 can be traced back to our founders in Le Puy, France in 1651, when 6 sisters chose to serve the poor with kindness on the streets of Le Puy. It was that same kindness to the neighbor that inspired the Sisters of St. Joseph to open the House of Providence in 1857, and kindness again to the neighbor to open St. Michael's Hospital in 1892 and St. Joseph's Hospital in 1921. And I know that that same kindness is alive today across Unity Health Toronto.
Over the years, I have watched you respond gracefully to the changing landscape of healthcare. I've noted this when I was frontline staff on your sites, when I was president of Providence from 1982 to 93, and more recently when I was on the board and as a volunteer. These necessary changes, both structural and staffing patterns, were met with kindness to meet the changing needs of the residents and patients and what was happening in society generally.
The iconic story of the Caravan of Kindness reflects the Sisters of St. Joseph, and I am proud that that same kindness reflects Unity Health Toronto. Please remember this. You are a vehicle of kindness in your healthcare work. Thank you for continuing the Caravan of Kindness in all that you do.